This is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe, and let's get right into the news. Well, Memphis Bleek clears up the situation. Shannon Sharp had said Van Lathan's name, but and Memphis Bleek didn't correct him and say, no, it's Van Jones. But it says Van getting hit up in a Scooby van. Wait, say, Van getting hit up Scooby van, 18 van, or Jones, Lathan, we got switches, he says. And he says, nah, my bad, fam. Van Lathan, I apologize, homie. Said the wrong name. I just knew it was smoke. So Van Lathan says, yeah, I think it was just a misunderstanding. Because, it was the whole thing about some things were said about Jay-Z and the allegation. And they took it as disrespect. And they were like, he was at the brunch. Why would he say that? But it turns out it was the wrong van, right? So he says, I think the whole thing at the beginning is actually a misunderstanding. Even in the initial back and forth, honorable man to make this post. And I'm always down to have a conversation. So Camron makes it very clear last night that, hey, Dame Dash's son needed money, and he hit up Larry. Larry is the guy that Dame Dash had met through Nori, and he was the one talking about on the Breakfast Club about, hey, Larry, he's the reason I'm being taken to court, which is false. Okay, Larry put up money for a movie and had paid Dame Dash to promote his cannabis company in Vegas. And he also watched Dame Dash's son Boogie for 2 years. He let Boogie stay with him and watched after him. Dame and Larry fell out, but Boogie, Dame's son, still talks to Larry. And he needed some money. Now, Larry was basically a safety net for Dame Dash for a while, money-wise. Larry confirms that Dame Dash doesn't really have that much money. He rents all his homes and everything. That's what Larry says, okay? So Boogie needed to borrow $5,000. He had no money. Larry works with Camron on Talk with Flea. So he says, hey, this is what happened. He says, let's just give him some money, but we'll have him on, and, he can promote whatever he's got going on. They had a clear text message back and forth. Camron showed it and made sure that, there was no, he said, we're not going to talk about your father or anything. We'll just talk about what you got going on. He agreed, and they were going to do it, but then obviously Dame Dash caught wind of it and got in his feelings. All right, so now we got Dame Dash lying about this because he says, he wanted to do an interview to diss me, which is not true. Camron said there is a line in the sand of how far I go. I won't involve family, but Dame quickly was, why can't he give Boogie $5,000? He's like, maybe he's like, I know the timing was off, but that's the truth. His son needed money. I believe him. I'm gonna be honest. I believe Camron in that situation, So anyways, unfortunate situation. But that's what's going down, and Dame Dash is taking it so far that now he can't call Camron for any favors. It's over because he started bringing up Camron's mother and everything. I mean, Dame Dash is cooked, bro. He wants $300 million from Camron. Dame Dash doesn't even have the money to go take him to court, to be honest with you. He's just serving him with a letter. A letter costs a couple $100. Ghostface's son, has transitioned, not to the other, but to different sex, right? And, obviously Ghostface wasn't really cool with that. And, there was, I guess he disowned his son. This is the son he always talked about, Infinite. And unfortunately, they're not talking anymore. And Infinite has dissed Ghostface and said, I haven't seen my father in 10 years. That's unfortunate. Keke Palmer turns down a TikTok user trying to shoot a shot at her. The truth is that she says, I'm not ready to be a cougar yet. I'm just not yet. That is kind of funny. What is she? Let me play. This guy made like a desperate attempt to like get with her. Like, hey, baby. Have you ever seen that one where it's like, hey, baby, I want to get with you. Here, let me play it real quick.
This message is from Miss Keke Palmer. Miss Palmer, I saw you on Hot Ones today with Sean Evans, and you...
How you doing, young man? I heard all the nice things you said about me, and you were so bold for doing so. I was kind of gagged when I found out that I was 11 years older than you. That means when you were born, I was already winning spelling bees. That means when you were learning how to talk, I was already jumping rope. The gag is, if I was little Erica, I could be your mama. Running away, love. The point is, while I'm open for a little swirl or two, even though the last time I did that, the black community had me in a chokehold, the truth is, I'm not ready to be a cougar. You know? I'm not ready just yet.
Am I the only one that's like, the way Keke Palmer carries herself, and there's, this is just how she's always carried herself as she's like 45, 55, but she's only 32. But she's always carried herself as like a 55-year-old, like the way she talks. Anyways, next up we got, I guess Cardi B's been plotting this diss track. She's been plotting a lot of these diss tracks. She's been holding them up. Has she been penning them? No, she's probably sending it to somebody to pen them. But as we know, the Cinderella mixtape dropped in 2024 in July. And here is the live from Cardi B.
Bitch, bring the baby ass bitch, run away, dirty foot ass bitch, backdooring ass bitch, hit on your friend ass bitch. See her going through it. You see her going through it in life and put her on blast on social media ass bitch. You a hating ass bitch, ungrateful ass bitch. Bitch, bring the baby ass bitch, run.
Okay, so she's been planning this for a while. This is that artist, David. He has canceled his tours. Obviously, they're looking into him for this girl who was found in his trunk. And this teacher was admitting a class that this was one of his students. He never reported to the police, but she was missing from class for a while. And she was in class while dating this singer, David. There's a big age difference between the two. And it's weird because if you are, let's see, David is 20, okay? The girl was 15, so they met when he was 18. She was 13. I'm going to tell you something, man. I don't know if you can remember, but when you were 16, say you were 16 years old, right? And there was a 13-year-old. A 13-year-old seems like a baby to you when you're 16. When you're 16, anybody under your age usually is like, like more than a year age gap is like, seems like young, I never was like, oh, man, she's only 13. It seems like 10, 20-year difference when you're 16 and then the girl's 13, Even when you're 18 and the girl's 16 or the girl's 15, it seems like 30 years. So this is sick. I'm just trying to reiterate how sick this is, Age differences start to be less of a thing, I'd say, when you hit like maybe 30, then you could date a 25-year-old or something like that. It just seems not as bad. It's still 21 and all that is still kind of young, but hey, it depends. That's to each his own. Still legal, but hey. And then, I'm in my early 40s, and my wife is like 30, but it is what it is. I've only been dating her I was dating her for 2 years, and yeah, so we have about a 10-year age gap. But when you're at a certain age, it seems like eons, like it doesn't become like okay until like you're like in your 30s and 40s to me. I've always dated girls. I used to date girls that were older than me in my 20s. I used to always date like 30-year-olds. I used to. I don't know why. I had a problem. I think. I don't know. I always wanted an older woman for some reason until I got into my late 30s. I think. Then we got Young Thug linking up with Trippie Redd, even after he dissed Trippie Redd. So I guess they're cool. NBA YoungBoy new bag policy since there was some violence at one of his shows. All bags of all sizes, including clear bags, will not be permitted inside the venue. So you can't even bring a bag in. These younger kids, man, they're crazy. That's all that means. Anyways, this is Jordan Tower with JT News. I'll check you guys in the next one. Smash that like button for me. Peace.